Okay, welcome back. For those of you who are tuned in, paying attention, you might be assuming correctly that the reason we're discussing political cartoons is because you have another, what's that? What kind of assignment? Paragraph assignment, okay? This time around, grade 9's, your paragraph assignment is going to look a bit different. Instead of answering a question, which I'll just be upfront, a lot of you didn't properly answer. And I went easy on marking, despite the fact that most of the assignments didn't even answer the question, so most people should have failed. That was being nice. Okay.
Thank you. Not next time.
This time around, you're analyzing a cartoon, a political cartoon. Most of you should be going to high school next year, planning on it at least. Many of you will likely graduate, which means that you will take social 10, 20, and 30. Your teachers should prepare you over 10, 20, and 30 on how to write essays. One of the essays you write in both -1 and -2 is a source analysis or political cartoon essay assignment. Essay simply just stands for a written assignment, written response. Okay. Keep in mind, grade 9's, the essays in English and social studies are different. Okay. The difference is not necessarily major, but there is a difference in formatting. Okay. Whoever teaches you in grade 10, hopefully they clarify that. Okay. So this is a short document simply designed to help you learn how to analyze a political cartoon. How many of you have done any political cartoon analysis before? Any picture analysis? Okay. Did you do that in social studies or did you do that in English?
Social 7.
Okay. Did anyone do it in both?
Yeah.
A little bit of both?
I just don't remember. I get everything over the summer and then I'm back to grade 1.
Wonderful. Okay. So first off, just quickly explaining, this should be on your first page. A political cartoon is as it says, it's just a comic strip, it's a drawing. Okay. They can use a variety of different tools to express an idea. Right? But when you have a comic strip, well, my bin's right there if you're collecting them. Morning. My bin's a bit broken. I need to tape it. But do you want to take it? Yeah, it's right there. It's upside down. It's a little tricky. Okay. So if it's a political cartoon, grade 9's, it's probably a social message. It doesn't necessarily have to relate to current events, but likely your source analysis essays will relate to the subject material. So my grade 10s just wrote me 3 source essay responses, and we're marking those together right now. Okay. I don't think you kids really look at newspapers anymore, but a lot of times newspapers will have, political cartoons. You've probably seen images on social media. They might use various tools that we'll discuss here. Okay. This image on your sheet of paper would be worth highlighting and really focusing on. Make sure you can read everything on there. Your printout looks a little bit different than the handout here.
It has no color.
So when you look at a image for social studies to then respond to in an essay format, in a written format, first thing you want to do, just look at the image broadly and just take almost like your gut response. What issue is the political cartoon about? Okay. In some sources, that's going to be very clear. In some sources, that will not. Okay. Also, I'm using the word source. For those of you who don't understand, source just refers to the political cartoon that you're looking at. Okay. So usually there's 3 sources. So you want to figure out first, what is the issue, the major theme of that image. Does the cartoonist have an opinion? So whatever the issue is, do you think they're pro, so in support, or against? Okay. maybe they're trying to be critical, maybe they're trying to support. Okay, it's your job when responding in these essay assignments to determine that and write that down. Just because you thought of it in your head doesn't mean that your teacher can mark that. So you actually have to express that in writing. Okay. Usually this second bit, if people can determine, what is the opinion of the cartoonist, what kind of message are they trying to communicate, it just indicates that this student is very adept at writing. They really understand how to write and analyze an assignment. For the record, a lot of kids usually miss that. Okay. Here's a little bit of extra notes there, and this is more so at the social 30 level. You might want to think of some content you learned that would go against the opinion in the source. So your source analysis assignment isn't always a cartoon, it's not always an image. At the 30-1 level, some of you might aim to be in 30-1. Your source analysis, typically it's 2 quotes and the third source is a picture, usually, okay? And those quotes are a paragraph long, so for those of you who complain about reading, -2, okay? Do you find this cartoon persuasive? Why or why not? So there's some mechanisms, we'll look at that. You might also want to consider the purpose of the source. What are they trying to communicate? If they're trying to be persuasive, what are they trying to make you understand, think about, reflect on? Okay. So the techniques that we'll examine in this, it's probably better taught in an English class, but we'll look at them anyways, okay? So a couple different tools and different methods that an artist might use in an image. The first one, symbolism. Okay, so focus on the first word of that, symbols. What type of symbols do they have in the image? Okay. They might use exaggeration. Do we understand what this word means?
I like to exaggerate.
Yes.
Right, so if someone really doesn't like winter, they might exaggerate and say, oh man, it's like there's 4 feet of snow out there,
They're probably
right? Exaggeration can also be similar, it's not 100% connection, but similar to a caricature. Okay, does anyone understand what this word means, caricature?
no.
Okay, caricature is more of like exaggerating a drawing, so they might exaggerate certain features in a drawing. Okay, anyone ever seen cartoons, like cartoon images where like one of the characters' head is just massive and their body is tiny?
Yeah.
Okay, that's caricature, that's exaggeration. No one has a head this big with a body this small. Okay. Analogies as well. They might connect the information to something else, make an analogy. Labeling is very important. Grade 9s. High school students miss this all the time, especially the lazy ones. They just look over the source and they ignore important labeling information. When you're writing this response, it's a fine balance between writing too much detail about the source and not enough. But one thing you should include is the labels. If the source has something written somewhere and that information is important, reference that in your response, okay? And that might look a little easier as we go down further. And then irony might be another tool or mechanism used to communicate information, right? So for example, a fire station being on fire. It's kind of ironic. You think the one place that they would be able to put out a fire is the fire station, okay? Sure, a police station being held up at gunpoint. That'd be both funny and ironic.
But that's not gonna happen, because that dude is just looking at God.
Okay. So symbolism is just using simple objects, symbols to stand for larger concepts or ideas. Okay, and I think, yeah. So as an example of using a symbol, so maybe a cartoonist will draw a wall between 2 groups of people. they're using that symbol to represent that there's, you know, there's a separation between two groups. Okay? Another example, so a voting booth, you know, symbolizing democracy or an election. Maybe they're trying to represent, or part of what they're communicating in their image using various symbols, whatever it is. So for example, how many of you know, if you saw a dove in a cartoon, what would that be a symbol of?
Peace.
Peace.
Love.
I don't know who said love.
Isn't that what it's called? Two doves.
Just one dove, I don't think means love.
No, yes, that means love. No, it's like peace, love, and beauty. Like a magician.
What is the Grim Reaper a symbol of?
Death.
Death. Okay. Okay. Also it says right there, I can't say your name on camera, but it says right there,
What?
a dove to symbolize peace. I didn't see
swear
that.
it has other meanings.
Maybe, perhaps.
Maybe you're just lying.
Okay, while I answer the phone, think about what symbols do you see here? Okay?
I think.
Big words.
You guys are
Yes. No worries, no worries. I'll send it to you.